Good morning. Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. Thank you again for coming to today's service. We'll begin with opening meditation. If you could all please join me in Gasho. What you inquire about in your letter is a passage from a sutra that states, "Those who attain Shinjin and joy are equal to the Tathagatas." This is from the Garland Sutra and means that the person who rejoices in Shinjin is equal to all the Tathagatas. This is also indicated in Shakyamuni's statement about those who realize Shinjin and greatly rejoice. The one who sees, reveres, and attains the Dharma and greatly rejoices, that person is my excellent, close companion. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Okay, we'll continue with the three treasures. Fortunate is it to be born into human life. Now we are living it. Rare is it to encounter the teachings of the Buddha. Now we hear it. If we do not seek the truth of the Dharma in this life, in what life shall we find it? Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in Buddha. May we all together absorb into ourselves the principle of the way to enlightenment and awaken within us our highest aspiration. I take refuge in Dharma. May we all together be submerged in the depth of the Dharma and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in Sangha. May we all together become units in true accord, in a life of harmony, in a spirit of universal brotherhood, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through ages of myriad of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful teaching. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of the Tathagata's teaching. Okay, we'll continue with the chanting of Juseige. Namandos, 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 namandos. Gagon chosengan Hishimu jono shiga humanzo sefu joshoga gaomu ryoko fui daiseshu fusai shobingu sefu joshoga gashi jobutsu no myosho chojippon kukyo mishomon sefu joshoga nioku jin shonen joe shubongyo shigumu jono isho tenninshi jinniki en daiko usho musai no shoujo sankumyo kosai shuyakunan 愛知永遠飯こもん永息小悪のつらつ全宗門高僧上満蔵伊予の寺本日月主十期天候音普賢一種解放の公正苦毒を上大集中説法ししく供養一切無具足修徳音元年質上満徳意三害を女仏無下知つらつ未不詳願学絵に投資最小尊志願や効果大仙王官の国書天人道地妙見ナマンダムナマンダムナマンダムナマンダムナマンダムナマンダム願にしくどく平等聖祭道も大心往生安楽Namandos, namandos, 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 namandos. Okay, we'll continue with the golden chain. Golden chain. I am a link in Amita's golden chain of love that stretches around the world. I will keep my link bright and strong. I will be kind and gentle to every living thing and protect all who are weaker than myself. I will think pure and beautiful thoughts, say pure and beautiful words, and do pure and beautiful deeds. May every link in Amita's golden chain of love be bright and strong, and may we all attain perfect peace. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namandos, 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 namandos. Okay, for our first gatha, we'll be singing Un Poco Loco. As a request, I was doing a lot of Disney songs, and I was like, oh, I should probably back off and not do so many Disney songs. But inevitably, I end up back doing more Disney songs. It's just hard. They're very good songs. So, see how this goes. Let's see. Everybody see? Everybody saw Coco? What color's the sky? I'm amor, I'm amor. You tell me that it's red. I'm amor, I'm amor. Where should I put my shoes? I'm amor, I'm amor. You say put them on your head. I'm amor, I'm amor. You make me un poco loco, un poquito loco. The way you keep me guessing, I'm nodding and I'm yesing. I'll count it as a blessing that I'm only un poco loco. The loco that you make me, it is just un poco crazy. The sense that you're not making are liberties that you're taking leaves my cabeza shaking. That you're just un poco loco, un poquito loco. All right, so now we'll have our Dharma talk. So I picked that song because I think within the quarantine, the social distancing, we're all un poco loco, which in English is a little crazy. I think we're getting a little crazy with kind of staying inside with all we're doing. And this is not to say that before we weren't already un poco loco, a little crazy, but I think that it has kind of amplified it maybe a little bit, especially with the people that we have. So this song in particular, it talks about a unnamed person, but someone who is referred to as mi amor, which is my love. And, you know, whether it's a lover or a family member or, you know, like a kid or something, we're not really sure. But they're doing these things that are kind of going against what you would normally think. So, like, one of the first line is, what color is the sky? And it's, you tell me that it's red. And then, where should I put my shoes? You say, put them on my head, which are, of course, very backwards. But I think a lot of times when we have these close relationships and we're spending time with people, it can feel that way. That when we talk to someone, when we ask them certain questions, they give us either these, you know, unexpected answers, these awful answers, or at least they seem that way to us because we have a certain way of thinking. So because we have this one way that we understand the world, this one view, when someone gives us something differing, it can be very unsettling, and it can make us feel like we're maybe a little crazy. But that's okay. It's all right to feel that way, and if anything, it's important for us to feel that way. It's important for us to come into contact with people who think differently than us, that might see the world a little bit differently, because when we are able to cooperate with them, then it allows us to understand the world in a way that is much bigger than how we ever could have known. So I don't know if anyone watches this, but I was watching this one show last night where they were kind of going between the differences of the male brain versus the female brain. So it's called, what is it, Brain Games, and it's on Disney Plus. I think the actual channel it's on is National Geographic. But anyway, it was interesting seeing the science behind why people think men are good at certain things, and that women are good at other things. And of course, you know, being at home, you can kind of test it out too. They have some games, and I know I lean one way on certain things, and I lean the other way on other things. So, you know, they're stereotypes, but while they may be true for a lot of the time, they're not always true. And it's fun to kind of play those games. And the guest stars on it was Dax Shepard and Kristen Bell. And there was one challenge where there was a team of 2 men, and then a team of 2 women, and then a team of Dax and Kristen. And in the end, Kristen and Dax ended up winning the challenge. So kind of the mentality behind that was when 2 people of the same sex cooperate, they oftentimes agree on a lot of things, and they're kind of on the same wavelength, almost like literally. But when there's people who have different opinions, and then in this sense, when one is male and one is female, they're on kind of a different wavelength, they still manage to complete the task just as well, and then actually in the episode last night, even better. And so it works to this kind of theory that when you have these different opinions, when you have different ways of working around stuff, while you might not always agree at the time, it actually works to help you to succeed later on in kind of the bigger picture. So I think it was the Dalai Lama that said, and if it isn't, then I apologize for misquoting. But if you say something, if you're talking, you can only learn what you already know. You can't learn anything new. But if you listen, then it's the opportunity for you to be able to, excuse me. If you listen, then you have the opportunity to learn something new. So that idea where if you're constantly talking and you don't do any listening, then you aren't ever going to make any kind of progress. But if you listen, then you can learn something new, and you can grow to be as a bigger person, and hopefully, better as a society, as a community. So even though people might seem like they're a little bit crazy, or maybe you might seem like they're a little bit crazy, if everyone can listen and we all work together, then it will help us to be even better all together. Now, I mentioned in our opening meditation that this idea of joy, and I broke this down a little bit in one of my the hot takes, the heart of the teaching. I believe it was the last one, the second one. But within Jodo Shinshu, there's this idea that we have to have this kind of joy when we have a realization of our spiritual fulfillment. And that's necessary because it's written in the sutras. However, not everyone feels this way. And so in one of the letters one of the interactions that Shinran had, he comes into contact with this idea. So one of his followers said to Shinran, "Although I say the Nembutsu, the feeling of dancing with joy is faint with me, and I have no thought of wanting to go to the Pure Land quickly. How should it be for a person of the Nembutsu?" And so they say, "When I asked the master this, he answered, I too have had this question, and the same thought occurs to you, Yuenbo." So Yuenbo is the person who's asking the question. "When I reflect deeply on it, by the very fact that I do not rejoice at what should fill me with such joy that I dance in the air and dance on the earth, I realize all the more that my birth is completely settled. What suppresses the heart that one should rejoice and keeps one from rejoicing is the action of blind passions. Nevertheless, the Buddha, knowing this beforehand, called us foolish beings possessed of blind passions, thus becoming aware that the compassionate vow of other power is indeed for the sake of ourselves, who are such beings, we find it all more trustworthy." So this might be a little hard to understand. It's a little dense there. But essentially what Shinran is saying is that we should be happy that we have these blind passions, because that is the whole purpose of Amida Buddha. Maybe in different terms, like right now, we're a little bit crazy, but we should be grateful that we're a little bit crazy, that we're having a hard time, because if we were perfect and we were fine, if we never had any kind of suffering, then there would be no reason for any joy. There would be no difference, because they're the same. One only exists because of the other. We only have things that we're happy with, that we're grateful for, if we have the opposite of times when we have things that, or we don't have the things that we're grateful for, when we take things for granted, and then when we end up being unhappy. So because those are the two sides to the same coin, it hopefully can open us up to another understanding of the situation that we're in. Not I'm not saying that we should stop trying to get back to where we were before, or even, better in the future. I'm not saying we shouldn't be working to try to have a better life. We shouldn't just sit there and accept it. Rather, the opposite. It's that we should be very grateful for what we have, and we should be grateful for what we had before. And then in deciding, in trying to live within the Nembutsu, when we move forward, we'll continue to have that kind of feeling, working towards trying to be grateful, working towards trying to have a better community. So while we might be a little bit crazy, we can also see that it's important for us to be a little bit crazy, and when we get out, it's all right to be still a little bit crazy. If you join me in Gassho. Namo Amida Butsu. 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 Okay, for our closing gatha, we will be singing Farewell. Dharma school is over for another day. Let us gather around the shrine, bow our heads and say, thank you, teachers, for your help. Thank you, everyone. Buddha's love will keep us safe till our work is done. So we'll meet again next week. Won't you take good care? Let us try to do what's right, always kind and fair. We shall spread the happiness faith in Buddha brings. Now it's time to say goodbye till we meet again. Namo Amida Butsu, sing this fine refrain. Namo Amida Butsu, sunny day or rain. Namo Amida Butsu, strong faith remain. Namo Amida Butsu, till we meet again. Now, what do you know? The more I do it, the better it gets. All right, now we'll have closing meditation. If you could please join me in Gassho. What suppresses the heart that one should rejoice and keeps one from rejoicing is the action of blind passions. Nevertheless, the Buddha, knowing this beforehand, called us foolish beings possessed of blind passions. Thus, becoming aware of the compassionate vow of other power is indeed for the sake of ourselves, who are such beings, we find it all the more trustworthy. Namo Amida Butsu. 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 All right. Thank you, everyone. We will have service, of course, next week. We have the weekly memorial service on Saturdays at 11. Please find the link for the form to fill out if you'd like your loved one name read. And then on Tuesday, I will put out another hot take, a heart of the teaching. Those ones usually end up coming out kind of late because of that's when meetings are usually scheduled. So by the time you see it, it might be Wednesday morning. But either way, and then Wednesday I'll have another Dharma dose. So I don't know. Message me if you want to request another song or something that you'd like to see or see me talk about. Anything. I'm always open for the feedback. And then thank you everyone who has already given me feedback. I always appreciate it. I'm sorry if I'm kind of late on the getting back, but anyway. All right. Thanks. Bye.